Good morning, everyone. I know you're probably sick of seeing me, so for a little setup, yesterday when I was moderator of the wonderful Around the World in 180 minutes, I was kind of like 50% Ford, 50% Smart Advisory Board member. When I was in the Moving Money panel, I was 100% Ford. Today, if you could, I'd like you to think of me like as 100% citizen, someone who's really, I'm stunned by the world and what's happening to it, and trying to figure out how and what I can do to make it better, and someone who's going to take this journey with Tom. Whether he likes it or not, I've decided he's going to help me on this. And also, if you look at this presentation as a way for, I've seen Scott speak before, a way that I've been trying to frame questions that I would like to ask him if I had him alone in a room with a bottle of Maker's Mark. So I also, as a citizen, I want to think of myself as someone, along with you, who's trying to build some sort of network or organization or enterprise or hub network, whatever that might be, to try to look at transportation and try to figure out how transportation can help the world that Tom portrayed earlier, and I'm really, really, really afraid is going to happen. In fact, in the first slide when he talked about the attributes, my vote was a biological bomb, social unrest, and terrorism. But that just kind of goes to show you that I'm the soft and squishy people person. So the resilient enterprise, and this is whether it's Ford Motor Company, Microsoft, the City of Portland, Hub Network in Bangalore, whatever. If Tom said that the attributes of a resilient enterprise are flexibility, redundancy, modularity, decentralization, long-range external factors, dynamism, exploration, diversity, experimentation, and pattern-based. So I was thinking about the work we're doing, not Ford, but all of us in urban mobility, all the things we talked about yesterday. And I said, when it comes to flexibility and redundancy and modularity, we have work to do. But we are making progress. Flexibility, some of the best manufacturing companies and production companies, they know how now to change lines to be able to make Nike shoes or Reebok shoes, to make F-150s or Mustangs, to make Priuses or Corollas. We know how for flexible manufacturing, so we can be flexible in our design as well. We know redundancy. There's been a lot of articles written by folks like John Elkington and Peter Senge on scalability. We know what redundancy is. I'm not saying we've mastered the methods, but we're making progress. And modularity, if there's one thing I learned from my soul sister, Ms. Zielinski, is, the design of a hub network system can be a big Seattle Steve Marshall mega hub to the one that Dave Berdish likes because the focus isn't right in front, or something where there's just a couple of connections where people are. So modularity, I think, again, we got a long way to go for execution, but I think we understand it. The resilient enterprise also have these kind of things. Now, these things, decentralization, long-term external stakeholder management, dynamism, to me, that's kind of like the management science, which, again, I think we know what it is. We have a lot more work to figure out how to do it better. But if you think about new mobility and the network system, we have some plays in place. If you think about the thing up there with the car and the connections, that's the cloud. And we talked about how the IT cloud is an important piece of it. The challenge is, can management of enterprise figure out how to run this without having to hog all the intellectual capital? But we understand what it is, and we understand that open source, open transportation is a challenge, but I think we have an understanding of how to get that. Long-range planning, external stakeholder engagement. There's a lot of series, the GRI, ICCR, Ford Motor Company, Nike, a lot of really good companies, and big and small, have made external stakeholder engagement and long-term planning part of their method. Now, again, we're living in a world where you can buy and sell stocks in the morning and sell them that night. So there's still a lot of system issues to deal with to have the world think more long term. But again, I think that we have the roots and we get the foundation to make that happen. So I would say of Tom's elements, 6 out of 10, those of us that are entrepreneurs or people that are involved trying to make things happen in new mobility, we're okay. But the last 4, exploration, diversity, experimentation, pattern-based, these are the things that make me stay up at night. These are the things I think contribute to my fear and how much world events have stunned me, because I don't see any progress at all in any of this. And if Tom says and others say we need these attributes for our enterprise, I'm really, really worried. I'm going to show my age, but there is a movie back in the early 90s. It's still like one of my top 5 flicks. It doesn't pass any Marx Brothers movies yet, but it's up there. It's called Mind Walk. And what it is, it's a dialogue between John Hurt, who plays a frustrated poet who did plays on Broadway, sold out, got mad at himself, and moved to Paris. Then Lee Wallman, who was an idealistic nuclear physicist who found out her work was being used to make killing machines and bombs. She checked out. She went to live in France, and she really just didn't do anything except sit in her room and read her books. And then Sam Waterston plays a politician who had just lost the Democratic primary and decided the best way to veg out was to spend time with his friend, the poet. And here's my favorite quote. So the poet says, so John Hurt says to Sam, I just thought that you might like to come here to discuss that precious quality that the world so desperately lacks. And Sam Waterston, the politician, says, yes, vision. Vision. And boy, we had lots of visionaries yesterday. I mean, all kinds of visionaries, all kinds of leaders. Vision, the big buzzword, shared vision. Peter saying, vision, vision, vision. And then my buddy, the poet, says, perspective, Jack, perspective. And I just don't know how we're going to be able to build a resilient transportation system if we're led by leaders and not by people that try to walk in the shoes of others. And understand and try to understand the perspectives of all the different groups and people that are going to be part of this world and the transportation system that we need to help it. Exploration is one of the attributes. What is the first thing you need to do if you want to explore and learn? What's the first thing you have to say to yourself?